and 2 homework assignments. So that's cool.
Have fun with that. Hey,
Yeah.
Deb. Shay said that she is having some problems with her laptop,
Oh, okay.
but she'll get on soon.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing?
Good morning.
Good.
Doing
good.
all right, suppose.
So any questions about any of the assignments before we get started here?
How many citations did you want us to turn in?
References?
Yeah.
I think it said 4 to 6.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And look out there at what the assignment is, and I think that's what I remember. Does anybody else remember?
I didn't see any number of references.
Oh, okay.
But I saw on the paper it said you need at least 4 references, so I just made 6.
Okay. Well, again, it's completely, it's it doesn't have to be complete by now. It's just, to get you started, make sure you're doing some research. So, just trying to encourage you to work ahead, right, guys? Rather than behind.
Yep.
I just checked. We know the reference list is due today, and I've got 6 people out of the 15 have posted already. So that's great. Ahead of the game here. Scott and Claire, do you want to put your pictures on? If you can. The other class last week on Thursday, everybody was blacked out. So not much fun if you're the instructor to try and look at people to see if they're engaged or not, or even the presenter. So I've asked people to try and put the pictures out there. So
my iPad happens to be dead, but I can charge it.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem,
Okay.
Scott. Just
I'm on desktop.
No, not a problem. Not a problem. Okay. So again, the reference list, I see at least 6 people have done that already. And then I looked at the workplace expectations, and 3 people have already posted those, which aren't due until Thursday. So that's a great start. So what did you guys think of the speaker? Anybody?
Of the speaker, like Becca?
Yes, Becca. Yes.
I thought she was nice. She did good.
Yeah, she's 16 years being with Great America is a good ride, number one. But she really has great information, I think, to share, and we're gonna talk about a little bit about that. So okay, looks like we've got 11 of you here. So I did talk to June, and he was having some trouble with laptops, but he thought he'd be here this morning. So hopefully he will be able to join us. That's the only person really we've been missing. So, okay, well, I want to start out with talking about going right to the presentation. So let me see if I can't bring that up. And I'm not sure what screen I'm on. Let me go back to Zoom and make sure I'm sharing. Okay, I'm confused here. There it is. There it is. Okay, so it must be on the other screen. Let me get that. Let me get that fixed. And can you guys see it now? Or not? I'm guessing you can't. I'm going to move it back over here.
No.
You can't. Okay. Okay, you can see it now?
No.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, it was because I added it. Apparently I have to share screen again. Oh, there. No, it's still not showing, is it?
It's trying anyway.
Oh, is it thinking? I've noticed that my computer's a little bit slow today, so I'm not sure what's going on with that.
There.
Is it, you can see it now? Okay, good, good,
Yeah.
good. Okay, I don't know why we're in the notes view. Let me get to a different spot here. There's just a few slides I wanted to talk about as we go through this. And it's stuck on notes view. Mhm. I have no idea why that is, but we'll go on to what I want to do here, and we'll see if it'll straighten out here. Okay, I see it's not going to do that, so we'll go ahead and get started on this. And so the resume basics, is that what you see?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I wanted to talk about that. The one thing she really talked about is to make sure that the name and the contact information, and the important point about this is I thought that was good to know about your resumes, is to make sure you're including it on all of the pages. So for example, if your first page got lost from your second page, if they just had your second page, they would not know how to contact you. So just know that that's a real good thing. One thing, if you're really serious about your job hunt, is you may want to go to Vistaprints and get some cards made. And again, they really work with anyone, and students are certainly welcome. But I think the last order that I did when I left the Iowa Quality Center is, and I think I can't remember if I shared the cards with you guys or not. I know I did section B. Did I share my business card with your section? I may not have. Anybody remember? Okay, I must not have shared it with you. And what I'll do is I'll take a picture of it. But I think I got 500 cards for about $30. And of course, you probably don't need that many cards. But I had a metallic finish on it, and they were just really nice cards. So something, that's easy when you go to career fairs and you're really serious about looking for a job or an internship. It's helpful also. I would invest in some business cards. Okay. And again, why, what, I guess some of the articles and things that came through that were on the in the content for today, some of them talked about how dysfunctional HR departments can be. And I can attest to that fact. That was my first job at Rockwell. I worked within staff requisition, which was bringing in people for interviews and so on. And I know all the time, I worked there for about 8 months before I moved to another position, but all the time I was at Rockwell, they had at least 400 openings. And that just was mind-boggling for me. I would think that would go down, but I guess with the current churn of employees that are moving or going to another job or going to another location or whatever, it just stays pretty high level. But let me go back to talking about HR departments as a whole. In my career, as I've taught for 10, 12 years. I've taught the MBA level, which is working adults. And one of the classes that was involved in our curriculum was human resource management and strategic human resource management. And I always started that class off by asking people what their opinions were of their HR departments. And I was surprised to see how low the opinion was. And so I'm not trying to scare you people that are HR management majors, because HR is just a critical part of the organization. They are in charge of hiring and hiring the right people. The one thing that they have going against them many times is the lack of their capacity. And what I mean by that is, it should be that if you study HR at all, if you study human resources at all, it says that it should be one human resource person for every 100 people, 100 employees. And very rarely do I see that happen. And especially in smaller organizations, the HR person may also be the marketing person and so on. So again, it's to me, it's not a fair shake to the HR folks. But anyway, it's a hard job. And so one big part of their job is just to stay up on regulations and things like that. So right now, I'm sure their life is pretty chaotic because they're trying to figure out, are these people, you know, still employed? Are they eligible for unemployment benefits? Blah, blah, blah. You know, all those things going on right now with this virus outbreak. So anyway, just know that they're human. I remember when my youngest son graduated from ISU, he'd had some internships, and he also, you know, had applied several places and he wasn't hearing back. And I said, you know, just don't give up hope. And then it got to a certain point after his search and his first interviews that he got about 3 offers. So, you know, about when you think that there's, you know, you're not going to get hired, most likely more offers than one will come at you. So just to keep that in mind. So anyway, real important part to make sure that your resume has all your information on it. Okay. And then the next slide. Let me see if it'll let me get to showing the slide in PowerPoint. No, it won't. Okay, we're going to keep going here. So slide 7, the grammar and spelling, you know, we've talked a lot about that in this class, and I just can't emphasize how important that is. Many times, if there is grammar or spelling errors in the resume itself, it's going to go into the round file, which is the trash. Okay, so just know that you don't want to be thrown out of the loop right away. So just realize how important that is. Okay, now next page, page 8 is slide 8 here. Talks about, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the power words. If you see that bullet points are the most concise and easy to follow. One thing I wanted to share with you guys about presentations and about the use of bullets. Bullets usually are not sentences, so they do not need periods at the end. So I see that as a mixed bag in some of the presentations. Just know that periods are not, like I said, periods are not usually behind bullets because they're not, and you can see this on her own bullets here. She puts the exclamation mark just for extra oomph and for you to pay attention to that. But as again, they're usually not sentences, so not necessary to use periods. And so the same thing in your resume. Okay. Let's see here, the power words. And again, if you're in your resume, if you are talking about something you've done in the past, the tense for that action that you did in the past. So for example, supervised 2 people. It should be supervised, not supervise. So it's something you did in the past. But if you're working on something right now, you're working on one part of your resume, one part of a position, those should be in the present tense. So just real important. And again, if you're looking at your work experience, all these bullets should be parallel thoughts. Does anybody know what I mean by parallel thoughts? You writers out there, do you know what parallel thoughts mean?
It should connect well.
Okay.
Like it should flow.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. And again, if you are talking about your experiences that you know, action verbs. So supervised, presented, researched. You know, all these, they should all be, if they're talking about a past job, then it should all be in the same tense. So the parallel thoughts are, they all look alike. You don't have working and you don't have demonstrated, and you don't have, you understand, I say you don't have a mix of the tenses. So those parallel thoughts are really important. That just shows that you have attention to detail, okay? And again, I've got a website that we're going to go to here in just a few minutes that talks, and these are two websites that I added to the this week's content. And one of them is Power Words. It gives you 185 different power words to use. And then another option that I added, let's go on to I think I went to, forgive me. Why just not go over here? Let's see here. The cover letter. Let's talk about the cover letter for just a moment. Did you guys remember what she talked about the heading of the cover letter? What mistakes you can make? Okay, let's say that you're posting to, or you're applying to Nordstrom's and Great America and Rockwell and several different firms, and you forget to change that I'm really interested in working at Rockwell when you send it to Great America. That right away, that make sure your cover letter is tailored to each employer. And how to do that is have I would advise not to have a template that you can put these details into, because if you're working from a letter that you've already sent to Rockwell and you're going to send it to Great America, it's real easy to not see the Rockwell term that's in that letter to Great America. But if you have a template, then you have a template that the company name can be filled in here and so on. That is just very helpful. One of the things they talked about, she talked about this, how are you prepared for the role? Make sure that you are qualified. Okay, so let's talk about that for just a moment. How many do you think, let's talk about this, when you're talking about your resume and how you term your experience, if you were a team member, but in the resume you said you were a team leader, how ethical is that to do, just to make yourself fit that position? Because if you do that, and why I'm talking about this, I looked at a study that they talked about. I wanted to know how many people regularly lie on their resumes. And in a survey that was taken in 2017, I knew this was common, and I didn't know what the relevant percentages were now. But a study that was done in 2017 found that 85% of people exaggerate their experience on the resume. But when you do that, when you come in and interview for the position, they're going to ask you about those experiences. And so, one thing I've told one of my grandchildren has had a tough habit, a bad habit of exaggerating and actually lying about things. And I tell him, what you need to remember is to tell the truth. Always in your life, tell the truth. I'm not saying tell the truth to hurt someone. I'm telling you, if someone asks you if you fed the dog, did you feed the dog or did you not? Okay, because when you're, especially when you get into a workplace, if you start telling fibs and stretching things, you're going to have to remember what you told them. If you're telling the truth, you do not have to worry about that. So I hope that's one of the nuggets you can take with you in your whole life. To make sure that you're talking about what you've done. And this goes to, let's talk about an instance in the workplace. One of the ethical questions that I have run into in several instances in my work life is I've had employees that fellow colleagues that they will take the glory of an idea from someone else and say it's theirs. And that's definitely, it's not ethical. So this was, let's just give you an example. If you remember Patrick Lencioni talking about that you did a report and it was a great report, and his supervisor came back and said, wow, that was a great report. Thank you, Pat, for making me look good. Well, if she would have, and I would not be surprised if at that meeting she said, well, that was that report, this report was created by Patrick. And again, if you're a manager and you're in a meeting and you get kudos from something that your team did, make sure you're giving them the credit that it was done. Because if you say, let's say that I'm a leader and there was a financial report that was really complex and you have a really great finance person, and so you ask them to do the report, and then you got kudos on it at a meeting, you know, what's going to happen if you take the glory for that and don't give the credit? What's going to happen the next time that they need a really complex financial report? They're going to come back for you and expect you to be able to perform, and you're going to fail. Unless you can get back to that employee that you kind of was untrue, you know, did not give them the credit for doing the work, you know, that can just end badly for sure. So just to make sure, that's important. So again, we're going to go to a couple of those websites. Now, I'm not sure. I hesitated to come on because when I opened up the class, it says to start the class. And when I opened up the class before, then it used those 10 or 15 minutes that I opened the class easy. We're getting to the point now that we have about 9 minutes left on 30 minutes. So I'm not sure I'm sure I'll get a note that says your session is leaving now or is ending soon. So just for a heads up for that. So I'm going to stop share here for just a minute, and I'm going to go back to get out of this. And I'm going to go into the website here, the 185 action verbs that I left out on the content for you. So let me go back here, and I know I need to share my screen again. So I'm trying to learn, guys, here to make sure I'm staying with you. And let me move this down. Okay, hopefully can you guys see it now?
Yes.
No? You can see it? The 185? Okay, great. Okay, so this is just a great website, guys. Okay, here we go. So here, for example, these 4 first examples that they gave you here: led, handled, managed, responsible for. Those are things that are used all the time, but here are action verbs that you can add in there. To me, this is just great. It's always really important to use action verbs. So orchestrated, executed. I just think these are really, really good things. And then here is you envisioned and brought a project to life. So you built, you created, designed. These are all just great terms. You save the company time or money. So you can see here, there's just a really reconciled, consolidated.
Quiet, June.
Did June join us?
Yeah, I FaceTimed him.
Great. Oh, he's on the phone?
Yep.
Hey, June, can you hear us?
Say it again.
June, can you hear us?
Hey, June.
Oh, he has a thumbs up. It looks like. Okay. So we'll talk, June, afterwards. You know, I don't know if you weren't able to find us on Zoom or not. So anyway. Okay, so here you increased efficiency, sales, revenue, customer satisfaction. You changed or improved something. So you can see lots and lots of really great action verbs here. So I would suggest that you dig into those and use some of them in your resume. This is the best list that I've ever seen. So let's go on to, I wanted to go on to also the Genius resume. And I may have lost all my links here. It looks like I have. So let me get into it again. And I know I'm going to lose you here for a moment. Resume Genius. And here they just have a lot of really good terms here. Yeah, it's thinking and thinking and thinking. So I'm having some trouble myself with my internet here. Here it's coming up, it looks like. So let me ask a question. Do you guys have all your calendar invites? Are they already on your calendar that I don't need to send that email out to you?
As far as the link, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have them.
So they're in your calendar. I didn't know if I still need to send those out. I mean, they're always for part 1 and part 2, they're always the same. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to, you can probably post the link on the Brightspace announcement so you don't have to send the email.
Okay.
That way it's always there.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. I'll do that. And I know for your session, I had a password that needed to get in, and we don't usually need to do that. I'm not having any luck getting this to come up here. Oh, there it is. It's not responding. Okay. Sorry, guys. There it is. There it is. Okay, let me share again here and we'll be off and running. Okay, it says the meeting will end in 10 minutes. So we do have about 5 after 10. So I think we have enough time to look at this, here. Okay, new resume builder. Forgive me. I know I'm not sure what is. You guys are not seeing my screen right now, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see the Resume Genius?
Yes.
No? Yes, you do see it. Okay. So the big part about this is resources up here at the top, resources. So it gives you all kinds of great examples. And even if you have a resume already, this gives you some ideas for different templates. One thing I would caution you about, and this is in one of the articles that we'll look at later, is a lot of organizations, especially the big ones, you're going to have to use your own judgment on this, whether, Pioneer is a big, I think they even have a different name now, and it's not a good example. Principal, some of these bigger companies, they have a machine, a program that analyzes resumes as they come in. And so, for example, some of these resume templates that they're looking at, there's a lot of color. And I know we had, I'm trying to think, I think our resume program at Rockwell when I was there was called ResumeX. And you can see these different resume templates. You guys can see the screen, correct? The resume templates?
Yep.
Okay, good. Wanted to make sure we're still on track. You see the different ones that have color. I would probably steer away from the color if you're going to be applying to a large company, because most likely they could just throw that out because of the color. Okay, it just, the black and white, the rule is kind of keep it simple so that they can understand it. So anyway, lots of different ideas here for you, and I didn't mean to bring that up, so let's see if I can get back to where I wanted to be. No, lost it completely. Doggone it. Can you guys, while we're talking, can you guys bring up things while we're talking? To get out on the website yourself without having to look at what I'm bringing up? Are you
Yeah,
free?
if you exit full screen.
Exit full screen? Okay,
Yep.
okay, good, thank you. So you may want to just get out there yourself. I'm getting there right now. Let's see here. No, it doesn't really help. Okay. Okay, let me get out of that. So if you can guys get in there and explore a little bit, that would help you too. Now it's coming up with something completely different here. I'm not sure what this is at all. Okay, let me start over here, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, it was Resume Genius. Move this. Huh. Can you guys see this colorful screen?
Yep.
Okay, but I don't know what it is. It doesn't have the details. So I'm having some trouble, I think, with my connection. Resume Genius, Genius Resume. Okay, I think we're getting back into it now. Well, I'm definitely having some problems here, guys. I think what I'll do is just, because we're probably about 3 minutes away from being cut off here. I think let's reconvene in part 2 and go from there. So I'm going to stop share and end the meeting and we'll go from there, okay? So we'll see you in just a couple minutes.